Woods, you say you had a brief sexual relationship with Mr. Volmar, which resulted in him intentionally impregnating you. You say Mr. Volmar now refuses to take responsibility for his child, and you are here today to prove he is your baby's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Volmar, you say Ms. Woods is a manipulative liar who was sleeping with multiple men during the time of conception and is so desperate to be with you that she's decided to pin her child on you. Is that correct?
You can't blame her. Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Woods, how did you get involved with Mr. Volmar?
I was going through some issues with my other kid's father. And
Which one?
One night I went to the club and wound up running into Mr. Volmar. He actually walked up to me while I was having a drink, and he whispered in my ear and told me that I looked like something that he could see himself with. So we exchanged numbers. I wound up leaving the club. He called me the following morning and asked me, can I come over to his house? I told him yes, but I had to make sure that, my baby father was leaving out for work that following morning. So I headed to Mr. Volmar's house. We wound up drinking and smoking. One thing led to another. We wound up having sex. The condom popped, and I told him, I'm a fast breeder. I have 4 other kids. So
a fast breeder?
Yes, I'm a fast breeder.
Let's just say fertile.
Yes, I'm fertile. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He told me he was in a relationship for 5 years, and the girl wasn't able to, get pregnant.
So you admit you had a sexual relationship with Ms. Woods?
That's it.
And you weren't in a committed relationship?
Never.
And once she told you she was pregnant, did you immediately think it was your child?
No.
You didn't?
No.
What were you thinking, sir?
I said, wow, congratulations.
Do you agree with her assertion that when
No.
you all had sex, the condom broke?
Condom broke.
The condom broke.
It was sex. It was fun.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
And the condom broke.
Yeah.
So at the point that she tells you she's pregnant, you don't believe you're the biological father, or do you remember that night when the condom broke?
I kind of remember the night that the condom broke. There's a couple of nights the condom broke, and I just said, you know what? If I got it, I already got it. Who needs condoms anymore?
So wait, you're admitting that then you started having unprotected sex with her?
Oh, a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the point is that you admit that you could be this child's father.
Right.
I don't know.
You don't know, but you could be.
I don't know because, I've tried it before. It didn't work. I don't know.
So when you say you tried it before and it didn't work, what do you mean?
I tried to get 3 different women pregnant. And when I stopped trying, she gets pregnant. I don't know. It don't add up to me.
Okay, and so Ms. Woods, when you told him you were pregnant, what was his response?
He automatically told me that he wasn't the father because I was staying with a man at the time.
You lived with him. You just can't visit me.
It does not matter. I was at your house every day, so how I had time to have sex with you and have sex with him?
Well, wait a minute now, Ms. Woods.
In the bed with him. I mean, of course you're going to have sex.
Ms. Woods, if you were living with him, you were still in a relationship with him, right?
Right, I was in a relationship with my other kid's father, but I was not having sex with him within that month I conceived.
So you found out you were pregnant.
I automatically knew he was the father because I was not dealing with him.
You lived with him. How can you not be dealing with him? You was driving his car.
You wanted this baby. At the end of the day, you wanted a baby. You kept saying how I make beautiful kids. You wanted a baby.
I
did not want a child because I had 4 other kids. I did not want no child with him.
I was talking in the heat of the moment. Come on, man, really?
So, Ms. Woods, you're saying you were in a relationship with your other child's father.
Right.
You were having sex with Mr. Volmar.
No, you can just call me side piece.
You told
side
him.
piece.
Well, basically, that's what you were.
Exactly.
And I accept it.
I was the same to him.
I told her I'm the side piece. I'm a good side piece.
So wait a minute. You had Mr. Volmar
She'll be on the phone with her boyfriend. I'll be laying in the bed, rubbing on her booty while she's talking to him. Okay, I was a good side dude. I didn't say anything. He had no problems. Come over whenever you want. We had fun.
Oh, Lord. So, Ms. Woods, did you ever tell your ex that he could be Madison's father?
When I found out I was pregnant, I have no choice but to tell him that he might be the father because I was staying with him at the time. So I'm stuck having a baby.
Are you?
Yeah, I had a baby.
By who?
By you.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I'm 100% sure.
I don't even know his name.
Look at that baby. That baby looks just like you. She don't look nothing like me. That baby don't have anything for me but my toes. That baby look exactly like him. His eyes, his nose, his facial structure. That baby look just like him.
You make the same faces. I remember. That's you.
Mr. Volmar, let's try to take this seriously, really, because...
Yeah, because this is why I cannot deal with him, and this is why I didn't want no baby for him, because the type of attitude he have, how he set up, he just ignorant, and I cannot deal with him.
But Ms. Woods, you were dealing with him. Yeah, that's why we're here.
I was dealing with so much with my other kid's father. That's why I wound up leaving and going to a whole nother state. I didn't want to move to New Orleans because they had so much going on down there. So the closest place is Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana. That's where I moved with my kids.
That's just as bad. Just as bad.
So when she comes back, the baby's born.
Right.
Baby's born. She came back, the baby was literally 3.5 months old when she came in, first time I seen the baby, ever.
And said, this is your baby?
Yep. And I looked at her with the same look I'm giving you right now, what?
And so, Ms. Woods, when you arrived and you told Mr. Volmar he's your child's father.
Yeah.
What was his reaction?
He said he wanted to get a blood test. When I got down here, he finally came to meet his child for the first time.
I don't know if that's my child.
Your Honor, I'm
That could be
speaking right
anybody's
now. Okay.
Might be his kid.
We riding around or whatever. He wound up bringing the kid back. I'm like, what you done that for? What you brought the kid back for? Oh, I know it's my child. So which is it? Either she your child or she not your child. Like, I can't deal with him.
Did you take the DNA testing kit back to
He brought
the
it
store,
back.
Mr. Volmar?
I wish I could have took her back to the store. She's the worst thing that happened to me.
We are, of course, in a paternity case concerning beautiful baby Madison. Mr. Volmar stated for the court that he has a low sperm count. He'd undergone testing. We wanted to retest him. What was your analysis of the results?
So Mr. Volmar had several factors that indicate he does have a low sperm count. One was the sperm count itself. It was at 20 million. Anything below 20 million is considered low sperm or oligospermia. And that does decrease your chances of fathering a child.
Thank you.
However, it does not make it impossible for a man to father a child.
You was on my side for a second there.
In the case of Woods versus Volmar, when it comes to 4-month-old Madison Woods, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Volmar, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you. You're the father. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
You are the father. That is your beautiful little girl.
Exactly. Looking just like him. Thank you, Your Honor.
How's it feel? You seem...
I'm at a loss of words.
Really?
Yes.
No, that's a good thing.
She's beautiful. Can I hold her?
Now, that's a beautiful thing to say.
Yeah. It's gonna be my little piece of gold now that I know.
I think in light of Mr. Volmar's, very real, honest reaction, I'd like to have a moment with you both in my chambers because I want him to see his little girl. Miss Campbell, you're here desperate to learn if the man you're in love with is indeed your 3-week-old daughter's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Rogers, you're a married man, and although you have reason to doubt, you say it would break your heart if you found out today that you're not Anna Gale's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, to further complicate things, Miss Campbell, you're in a relationship with both Mr. Rogers and his wife.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jerome, just bring her in.
You got it.
Thank you. All right, so I've got to start with you, Mr. Rogers. Please tell the court about this unconventional relationship you're in with your two wives, as you call them.
Me and Angela known each other for 24 years. We've been married for 20 years. And we met Gracie where we worked at, and they kind of hit it off together. She brought Gracie into the relationship just for herself. I knew she liked women, so I kind of just let her go ahead.
Okay, and how did it progress?
I let them, have their relationship. I got brought into it about a year later. Gracie wanted to have children. She said she was getting to the age where she wanted to have kids. So Angela told her, she said, the only way you can have children is if Thomas is the father. I agreed, and that's how our relationship started out between all three of us.
So let's just be clear. You all live together.
Yes, Your Honor. We all live together. We all sleep in the same bed. We got 3 boys, me and Angela. Me and Gracie have a 2-year-old son and maybe a 3-week-old
and the child in
daughter.
question.
Yes. Now, they had a commitment ceremony, these two.
We did have a commitment ceremony, us two. He was there. He's the one that gave me away, so it's not like it was forced. And as far as the relationship between me and him goes and bringing her in, the relationship, he's a man and he wanted it just as much as me.
All right, so let's get to the doubt surrounding baby Anna Gale. Why does the doubt exist? You
Your
are
Honor.
in a polyamorous relationship, so that means you expect that both of these women would only be sleeping with you.
That was the whole situation.
That's what you
know,
felt like
I was
the
supposed
deal
to be
was.
I was supposed to be the dad of her 2 children.
How did we get here? What happened?
They decided they was going to go to Phoenix, where Gracie's
Your
mom
Honor, may I
lived.
say something, please?
Yes.
Me and Angela went to Phoenix to pick up my mother.
Okay.
And I had told her about the swingers club that I used to go to, and we had wanted to go there, and she agreed.
Okay, Your Honor, may I interrupt? Okay, that is not completely 100% true.
Okay, so
Let me explain how
tell
this,
me the truth.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth how this went down. She decided she wanted to show me some of the things that she used to do. One of them was a swingers club. I did not particularly want to go. Finally, because I love her, I relented and I went. When we get there, I thought it was just a regular club. People are dancing, they're drinking at a bar. It looked normal. I mean, other than it was a swingers club.
So as you look at baby Anna Gale, do you feel like she's yours?
I want her to be mine. I see her every day. I try to spend as much time with her as I can. When I get home from work, she wakes up, I get her.
So even after you found this out, even after you knew all this, you still come home from work and that's what you want to do is spend time with your baby girl and your children.
Yes. I went through my life without a dad. He was there one day and then I didn't see him again for 10 years later. I don't want none of my kids to go through that, whether they're or not. It's not the kid's fault.
And Your Honor, I have here evidence of the conception date, and I also have a calendar of the conception date.
Jerome, let me
Of the
see that.
events.
So, Mr. Rogers, while Jerome's getting that evidence from you, so while they're gone, in your mind, you're thinking they're going to pick up her mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were intimate with both women right before they left.
Before and after.
I want to understand, first of all, the evidence that Ms. Campbell presented. On this document, it outlines the approximate date of conception, and it's listed here as September 11th, 2013. Your doctor's saying here that your date of conception is the 11th, and when we look at the 11th, there's no one, but right there the day before would be potential father number 2.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's really close to the 11th.
I know in my heart that I did mess up. I did. And I didn't mean for all this to happen. But I want him to know that, of course, you might not be the father, but I hope that you are.
The truth is you all created this family,
Yes,
and
Your Honor.
yet what you've done is tearing the entire family apart.
My point of view is I hurt my best friend. He is my best friend.
Let me ask you a question. If I hadn't seen that message, would I have known?
No.
No. And it frustrates me because I know.
Because I was afraid if I told you, I would lose you. And I don't want to have to live without you.
And I don't want to lose him either.
Me and Angela's been through this with our other child. She found out she was pregnant and she told me within a month, yes, I had relations with somebody else while you wasn't around.
All right. This is your teenage son,
Yes,
whose
Your Honor.
paternity is also in question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jerome, please bring Austin in. Mr. Rogers, who raised you, you know him as dad, may or may not be your biological father. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you want the answer to that mystery today.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to treat this as 2 different cases. Is that okay? I think that's the best way. Jerome, may I have the first results, please? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Rogers versus Campbell Rogers, pertaining to 3-week-old Annagale Rogers. Mr. Rogers, you are her father. So you two had to come clean with the secret you had been keeping from him.
We did keep a secret, Your Honor. I told him as soon as I found out I was pregnant that I had cheated.
So the bottom line is all of these years, you two had made this decision. We're going to keep this secret. We're going to raise this young man, give him a beautiful home, love him as our own, and this will be our secret, and he doesn't need to know this until this disease came into your life.
Yes, ma'am.
And so as you look at Austin, do you have any doubts that your husband is?
I do have doubts.
His child?
Austin's taller than me and his dad both. He's the only one in our family with blonde hair. There's a lot of differences in Austin.
Had he not been diagnosed with Crohn's disease, would you have ever told him?
We discussed that, and he didn't want to ever tell him.
No.
But I mean, that was my fault too, because we agreed together not to tell him. Your Honor, okay, I got that I cheated, and he might not biologically be his, but that don't mean nothing. It takes real parents to raise a child. And to step up and say, I want to be there, and that's what we did, regardless of what happened.
In the case of Rogers versus Rogers, pertaining to 18-year-old Austin Rogers. Mr. Rogers, you've waited 18 years for these results, and the wait is over. You are his father. I think that deserves a family hug.
I love you. Love you too.
Well, that's beautiful. Rogers family, I wish you all every blessing. Austin, I want you to take care of yourself. Look, I'm not here to judge your polyamorous relationship, but what I will say is that if this is what you choose to do it responsibly, like any other relationship, and put the children first. Ms. Reynolds, you claim you have known since the day your daughter was born Mr. Fleeton is her biological father. You are here with your daughter, hoping when today's results reveal the truth, it will help build that father-daughter bond she has always dreamed of. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fleeton, you say you have no recollection of ever having an intimate relationship with Ms. Reynolds, and therefore it is impossible for you to be her daughter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Reynolds, what was the nature of your relationship with the defendant?
We didn't have a relationship. I met him at a sex toy party, and he was the stripper.
He was the entertainment.
Yes.
Teddy bear.
Yes. And, you know, we didn't have any action at that time, but maybe a week later, we were at a popular club in our city, and he was there and he was dancing, not entertaining, just dancing. And I was there, and I actually did my mating call. Yes.
How did that make you feel, Jerome?
Running over there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, when you were at the club, you hit that note.
I did. Maybe a couple of nights later, or maybe a week or so, he gave me a call after hours, booty calling hours. And he said he was going to come through, and he did. He slid through.
Okay.
Maybe about 5 times, I can remember 3 exactly, that he came over to my home, booty calling hours. I didn't know nothing about this man as far as what was his favorite color. We never dated. You know, we didn't go out or anything like that. It was always booty call.
So, Mr. Fleeton, do you remember sleeping with Ms. Reynolds?
No, ma'am, I have no recollection of ever having a sexual encounter with Miss Mary.
But I'm unforgettable.
Well, do you remember her mating call? Hit that one more time. Do you remember hearing that one night?
No, ma'am.
So you don't remember being intimate with Ms. Reynolds at all?
No, ma'am. I was dating one of her daughter's friends, and she recognized me. And I'm sorry, no disrespect, baby. No disrespect. But like I say, today I'm here to find out if I'm Kiesha's biological father.
When I became pregnant, I was with my ex at that time because we were on and off. And at the time that I had an encounter with Mose, me and my ex was off. And we had gotten back together. So the whole time I just knew that I was pregnant for my ex until the baby was born. She came out Snow White without the doors, okay? With these green, brownish color eyes, sandy brown hair, and I said, oh my God. For the first 9 months of her life, I didn't even take pictures. I didn't want no one to see her. I kept her covered up. If I went out in public, let me see your baby. Nope, she covered up. Nope, she's asleep. I wouldn't let no one see her.
Because you were...
I had already convinced my ex that this was his child. And we moved on. He was okay with it, and I was okay with it. But I knew.
Well, you know that skin color varies.
Yes.
And people want to base so much on the color of the skin of the baby. Mm-hmm. When you know genetics can bring us a rainbow of shades.
And that's how I was able to convince my ex, because he has some, you know, lighter complected or mixed family members, and so do I. So that's why it was so convincing. The next time I connected with him would have been when Kiesha was 12 years old. She was at my daughter's friend's house babysitting. And I didn't know that the daughter's friend was dating Mose at that time. She had taken a picture of Kiesha and Mose together, the young lady. So my daughter brought it to me, and I laughed it off, and I was, you know, just laughed it off, and I didn't say anything. But after a while, it clicked to me. Oh my God, because if it's that noticeable, he have kids out here. What if she end up dating someone that could possibly be her brother? I need to contact him. And I told him it's something that we need to talk, not on Facebook, not on the phone, but in person. And he actually finally came to my house and we talked about it. And I told him that Kiesha could possibly be his child. And he said he didn't remember sleeping with me. And at that moment, I said, oh, well, you know, so taking it to my grave at that point.
How did you go from saying, I don't even remember a relationship with her mother, to reconnecting and establishing such a bond? What did I miss?
I was walking out of a clothing store. She was going in to the clothing store. And I just seen myself in her. And I stepped to her and I said, you look like you could be my baby. And I guess she went back home to her mom, and so did she met.
When he said that, I can see you were emotional too, Kiesha, what did that feel like?
I felt confused a little bit because, you know, I never had nobody as a father in my life. And I got kids of my own. I want them to grow up with the grandfather and basically going down the right road and not the wrong road.
So, Mr. Fleeton, why didn't you take the opportunity at 12?
Because I didn't remember Miss Mary. I didn't remember an encounter of having sex with Miss Mary. So how could I possibly have a daughter?
But it's like you still don't remember it. And yet you've gone up to Kiesha and said, you look like my baby, and now you've got this whole relationship with her. I don't know. I'm missing something.
I'm not that man I used to be back then. You know, I've been through a lot through that time. I was ordained minister, you know, so how can I get out here and preach to somebody if I don't have my house in order? So if it's a possibility that I slept with Miss Mary and I created a daughter, I need to know.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fleeton, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Kiesha.
You okay? Yeah, baby. Should I?
Of course.
Anyway, baby. I'll always be here. I was here and I didn't know. So what? All right.
I'm sorry.
You okay, honey?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say this to you because you've been so strong, and I appreciate your strength. I admire you for it, but I do want to let you know that it is okay to express what you really feel. Because at the end of the day, this is about you, and this is for you. You're going to be okay.